I am not waiting on you. The world whispers not unkindly, but with a tenderness that almost feels like betrayal. I do not need you to hold me up. I move as I move, and you are already part of that movement, but you rarely hear this voice. You are too busy preparing for the moment you think I'll finally notice you, finally reward you for trying so hard to keep me together. You don't realize I have never once asked you to, and still, you carry a quiet weight, as if the whole of life depends on your steady hands. Every decision, every effort, every moment of striding feels like a small stitch holding together an unseen fabric. You believe if you falter, even for a moment, the seams might tear and everything you know will unravel. This feeling settles deep into your bones. It wraps around your heart like an old, familiar song you hum without thinking, until one day it becomes hard to remember any other tune. You push yourself to be ready, to be enough, to be awake enough, to live a life worthy of being witnessed. And in that pushing, you forget to listen. But listen now, just for a moment. Hear the world's gentle voice, not loud, not demanding, but steady and sure. I am not waiting. Life flows forward with a rhythm that does not depend on your timing or your readiness. The sun rises and sets, the seasons turn. The river flows, indifferent to your grasp. You have been taught that your effort is vital, that the world needs you to be the one steering the ship, the one fixing the leaks, the one holding the line. But what if that's only a story you tell yourself? What if the world's current carries you even when you loosen your grip? What if the dance does not hinge on your moves, but happens because it's already unfolding? There is relief in this thought, though it might feel like a strange kind of freedom. Not the freedom of escape or abandonment, but the freedom of recognizing you are already held, already woven into the whole. Your role is not to hold the world up, but to allow yourself to be carried by it, to trust the unseen currents that have never once stopped flowing. Pause with that. Breathe into the idea that life doesn't depend on your perfection or your control. Notice how this softens the tension inside your chest. Feel the steady pulse beneath your striving, the pulse of a world that has never waited, but has always been moving forward, carrying you in its embrace. This is the beginning not of giving up, but of coming home. Not to a place you earn, but to a place you were never apart from. The world is not waiting on you. It never has been. And in that truth lies the quiet invitation to rest, to trust, and to move gently forward, knowing that everything is already unfolding just as it should. There is a certain kind of exhaustion that only comes from living under this invisible demand, as if you are perpetually running a race that no one else can see. You may have forgotten what it feels like to stop. You may have convinced yourself that stopping means losing everything. Your safety, your identity, your sense of meaning. But what if stopping is the very moment where everything begins to breathe? Where the pace you've been chasing dissolves into the natural rhythm of life itself? Try to imagine this pause not as a failure, but as a surrender to what has been here all along. The earth does not strain to hold the sky. The sky does not clutch the stars. And still, the night sky is full and the earth is steady beneath your feet. You too are part of this effortless balance, even if you have forgotten how to feel it. Look back on your days, your weeks, the moments when you feared letting go. And yet, notice how things never truly collapsed. People arrived. Doors opened. The sun rose. Even when you were distracted, absent, or overwhelmed, the current of life did not wait for your permission. It swept around you, through you, carrying you whether you knew it or not. This is the paradox. Your effort has value, and yet it is not the foundation. Your striving shapes your experience, but it is not what sustains the flow of life. You can try to control, to mold, to hold tight, but the ground beneath you is not yours to own. It holds itself, always has, always will, and this there is a freedom unlike any other. It is not a loud liberation, but a quiet knowing, a soft place where the grip loosens and the breath deepens. It is the relief of discovering that the world is not a problem to solve, but a mystery to be lived. That you are not a taskmaster of existence, but a participant in a vast unfolding dance, moving in and out of steps you don't always understand. So when the world whispers again, listen not with the ears of the mind that plans and worries, but with the heart that opens and receives. Hear it say gently, without demand or judgment, I am not waiting on you. And in that simple truth, find the invitation to rest, to trust, to live not because you must, but because you already belong. Notice how your breathing changes in this realization, how a space opens inside where there was once tension. Feel the quiet room where you can place down the burden you did not realize you were carrying. This room has always been here, beneath the noise, beneath the effort. This is not about giving up or retreating from life's demands. It is about moving with a deeper intelligence, one that understands that life's rhythm is not yours to command, but yours to flow with. It is the wisdom that comes from surrendering to what is, rather than fighting for what should be. And in this surrender, there is no defeat, only a profound victory of presence. The world continues in its endless unfolding, and you, quietly, find your place within it, not as the one who must make everything right, but as the one who's already enough. There are moments quiet, often unnoticed, when the story you've been living begins to show its edges, like a well-worn book whose pages have softened and begun to fray. The narrative you've held so tightly starts to reveal gaps, places where the lines no longer fit together as neatly as they once did. It's not a sudden breaking. It's more like a whisper beneath the surface, a gentle unraveling that calls your attention if you listen closely. Have you ever noticed how life sometimes moves forward without your say? A conversation unfolds differently than expected. A plan falls apart and yet something better takes its place. Or a problem you've carried for so long simply dissolves when you stop wrestling it to the ground. These moments are the cracks in your story, the spaces where your assumption of control loosens, where the illusion of your indispensable role begins to fade. For so long, you believed that the world was waiting for you to get it right, waiting for you to show up fully armed with the right thoughts, the right feelings, the right actions. But these cracks suggest something else, something more tender and true. The world is already moving, already breathing, regardless of your readiness. It's a strange realization because it asks you to hold two seemingly opposite truths at once. On one hand, your effort matters. You are here, alive and awake, shaping your experience and affecting others in ways both seen and unseen. On the other hand, there is a current beneath it all, a movement that transcends your effort, a flow that carries even when you do not steer. This is where doubt begins to seep in. If the world is not waiting on me, then what is my role? Am I just a passenger? If so, then what does striving mean? If I'm not the doer I thought I was, then who am I? These questions aren't meant to unsettle you, but to invite a deeper inquiry. The cracks are not failures, but openings, invitations to step beyond the tight story of self-reliance and urgency. They are soft reminders that the story you've told yourself, while powerful, is not the whole truth. In those moments when the story loosens, you may feel vulnerable, uncertain, even lost. But vulnerability is the gateway to something greater. It is where the heart opens, where trust begins to seep in. When you stop trying so hard to hold the world up, you make room to receive the world's quiet assurance. You are already carried. Perhaps you can remember a time when you feared letting go, and yet life surprised you by unfolding in ways you couldn't have planned. A door opened you thought was closed. A kindness arrived when you needed it most. A path appeared out of nowhere when you had almost given up hope. These are not accidents. They are the world's way of showing you that it moves beyond your grasp, that it does not depend on your effort to be whole. You don't have to believe it yet. It's enough to notice the cracks, to feel the gentle shift beneath your feet, to let the possibility seep in that your story, while real to you, as only part of a much larger dance. And this is the invitation to lean not on certainty or control, but on curiosity. To walk forward not with the heavy burden of having to fix everything, but with the lightness of a traveler who trusts the path will reveal itself in time. There is a kind of grace in this slow loosening. It arrives not with fanfare, but in quiet moments. The sigh of relief when a long-held worry fades. The unexpected smile that blooms when you stop defending yourself. The deep breath that comes when you finally admit you don't have to know how it all works. In these cracks, you begin to see the outlines of something larger. The world is not a machine waiting for your commands. It is a living, breathing presence, fluid, expansive, alive beyond your grasp. You begin to notice how your deepest fears often live in the belief that you must be in control, that if you relax even a little, chaos will follow. But what if this fear is itself part of the story unraveling? What if letting go does not lead to disorder, but to a natural order you have yet to perceive? Perhaps there is a way to trust this unfolding without fully understanding it, to find comfort in uncertainty, and even beauty in the unknown spaces that open between the cracks. This trust grows not overnight, but in small moments. Moments when you pause and feel the soft earth beneath your feet, when you watch the sky shift colors without your urging, when you witness kindness given without expectation. These small moments weave together, teaching you that presence is more powerful than control. And in time, these moments begin to reshape the way you move through the world. Instead of pushing against resistance, you learn to flow with it. Instead of fearing the unknown, you begin to lean into it. Instead of feeling like you must always be ready, you start to accept the readiness already present within you. There is a deep humility in this acceptance, not the humility that shrinks or withdraws, but the humility that recognizes your place within a greater whole, one that you cannot command, but one that lovingly carries you nonetheless. You are not called to carry the world on your shoulders. You are called to walk with it, sometimes leading, sometimes following, often simply being present as it moves through you. And so the story changes, not because you force it, but because you allow it to unfold. Because you listen to the quiet voice beneath the noise and trust what it tells you, even when it asks you to surrender what you once thought was your hold on life. There is a beauty in this surrender, a freedom that does not come from fighting harder, but from relaxing deeper. When the weight of responsibility shifts even slightly, you find a space within yourself that is untouched by struggle, a calm center that is always present, even in the storm. This calm is the place where true movement begins, not the frantic, exhausting movement of trying to fix everything, but the flowing movement of life itself. Here, you discover that you do not have to wait for the world to be ready, nor does the world wait for you. The world moves in its own time, in its own way, and in that movement, you are already home. You may have spent your life gathering strength, building walls of certainty around yourself, holding tightly to what you believe keeps you safe. These walls were once necessary shields against the unpredictable anchors in the storm. They were constructed carefully, brick by brick, through years of experience and survival. Yet as the cracks appear in your story, they invite you to question not only what you hold on to, but why. Why clutch so fiercely when the tide is already carrying you? Why guard so closely what was never yours to own? What if the very walls you've built to protect you have also kept you from the gentle current beneath? Surrender is not defeat. It is not giving up or giving in. It is something far more subtle, far more profound. It is the art of releasing the grip just enough to feel the movement beneath your hands. It is the wisdom of knowing when to push and when to let the current carry you. It is the quiet courage to trust that life, in all its mystery, is unfolding exactly as it should, whether you understand it or not. It's the choice to stop fighting the flow and to flow with it, even when the destination is unclear. Imagine the tension in your shoulders softening, the tightness in your chest easing. Imagine what it would be like to stop racing against life as uncertainties and instead lean gently into them. This is the invitation the cracks extend, to step beyond the safety of your known story and meet the unknown with openness, curiosity, and grace. It's natural to resist this invitation. The mind, conditioned to protect, fears the vulnerability surrender requires. It whispers warnings. If you let go, you will fall. The familiar patterns of control feel like safety nets, and releasing them feels like stepping into the void. Yet the truth beneath the fear is different. The fall is an illusion. What awaits is a landing, not on hard ground, but on a foundation more stable than any fortress you could build. This foundation is the acceptance of what is, an embrace of the present moment exactly as it is, without the filter of your expectations or judgments. It is a space where resistance dissolves and peace quietly settles in. And from this place, you discover a freedom that cannot be taken away, a freedom born not from control, but from trust. Surrender invites you to see that the story of needing to be ready to act, ready to fix, ready to prove yourself is only one story among many. It has served a purpose, but it is not your entire truth. When you loosen your grip on that story, you open to a larger view where life's flow is not dependent on your readiness, but is an ongoing unfolding that includes you, yet transcends you. This doesn't mean you become passive or disconnected. Rather, it means your actions arise from a deeper place, a place beyond striving. They come from alignment with the movement of life, rather than resistance against it. Your choices gain clarity not because you are pushing harder, but because you are listening more closely. The invitation to surrender asks you to practice patience with yourself, to notice when you are holding on too tightly and gently return to this deeper trust, to be compassionate with the parts of you that feel afraid, lost, or uncertain. These parts are not weaknesses. They are signals pointing toward where surrender is needed most. In the stillness that follows surrender, you might begin to notice a new rhythm, a rhythm that feels like breathing with the universe itself. It is not rushed or forced, but natural and fluid. Here, time seems to slow and stretch, allowing you to move with intention and ease. Surrender also reveals the interconnectedness of all things. When you stop trying to separate yourself from the world's flow, you sense the invisible threads that bind you to everything else. This connection is not something you create. It is always present, waiting for you to notice. As you walk this path, you may find that the fears and doubts which once dominated your inner landscape begin to soften. They lose their grip because you are no longer fueling them with resistance. Instead, you meet them with curiosity and kindness, allowing them to transform rather than control you. The cracks in your story become doorways, portals to a deeper understanding of who you are beyond your fears, your plans, and your striving. They invite you to remember a truth that has never been lost. You are enough, not because of what you do, but because of who you are at your core. And in that remembering, surrender becomes a sacred act, a loving offering of yourself back to the flow of life. It is a step into freedom, a quiet revolution that changes everything. So when you feel the urge to resist, to tighten your hold or rush forward, pause. Listen for the invitation beneath the noise. Feel the gentle beckoning to surrender, not as a weakness, but as a profound strength. Know that in surrender, you are not giving up. You are coming home. This is not a one-time event, but a continual practice, a dance between holding on and letting go, between action and rest, between knowing and trusting. Each time you choose surrender, you deepen your connection to this wider current that supports you beyond what you can see. There will be moments when surrender feels impossible, when fear shouts louder than trust. And that is okay. The practice is not perfection, but presence, the willingness to return again and again to this quiet openness, even amidst uncertainty. In this way, surrender is not the end of your story, but the beginning of a new chapter 1 marked by grace, freedom and peace that surpasses all understanding. It is a living invitation to live fully, not by holding the world in your hands, but by moving gently with its endless unfolding. You have wandered long through stories of striving, of needing to be ready, of holding tight to control, as if your very survival depended on it. You have carried burdens so heavy, believing they were yours to bear alone. And now, through the gentle cracks that have appeared, you find yourself standing at a threshold. What lies ahead is not more struggle, nor a final victory, but something quieter, softer, a kind of coming home. Coming home is not a place on a map or a destination you must reach by force of will. It is the discovery that you have always been held, always been carried, even when you could not see it. It is the deep knowing that the very effort to be ready, to prove yourself, to fix the world, was never the whole story. Life as unfolding has no need for your permission or your control. It moves beyond the confines of your striving. This truth does not arrive as a thunderclap or a sudden revelation. It comes in whispers, in the stillness of a morning breath, in the quiet unfolding of a flower, in the gentle pause between thoughts. It comes as a soft knowing beneath the noise, a feeling that beneath all the layers of tension and fear, there is a place of rest where you are free. Freedom is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of peace amid challenge. It is the space where you can meet whatever arises, not with resistance or judgment, but with openness and acceptance. Here, you are not at war with yourself or the world. You are simply here, fully present, fully alive, fully at home. Imagine what it would be like to live from this place, to move through each day, not weighed down by the heavy burden of needing to be ready, but lightened by the understanding that you are enough just as you are, that you are already whole, already complete, already free. This freedom asks nothing from you. It asks only that you remember, that you stop fighting against what is and allow yourself to be carried by the current beneath your feet, that you trust the slow unfolding of your own unique path, even when it feels uncertain or unclear. There is a deep relief in this trust, a relief that washes over you like a gentle tide, dissolving the exhaustion of endless striving. The weight of expectation lifts, and you find yourself breathing more easily, moving more gracefully through the world. You begin to notice how your steps no longer feel forced or hurried. Instead, they flow with a quiet rhythm, guided by a wisdom that does not rush but knows. You find yourself responding to life's invitations with a fresh openness, a new kind of courage born not from pressure but from peace. This is the freedom of surrender, not a giving up, but a coming home to your true self. The self that is not defined by accomplishments or failures, by readiness or unpreparedness, but by the simple fact of being. And here, in this place, the story you have told yourself about needing to be ready begins to dissolve. It is replaced not by a new story, but by a stillness that holds all stories, a silence that sings with the presence of love. You may realize now that what you sought through control and preparation was always within you, the quiet calm beneath the chaos, the still point around which everything turns. It has never been lost. It has only been waiting for you to stop and listen, so when the cracks appear again, and they will welcome them, see them not as signs of failure, but as doorways. Doorways inviting you back to this home, to this freedom, to this peace that has been within you all along. You don't have to force your way there. You don't have to fix yourself or prepare endlessly. You only need to stop struggling and listen to the whispers beneath the noise, to the movement beneath the surface. And when you listen, you will hear it, the quiet voice of trust, the gentle pulse of life, the steady beat of your own heart reminding you that you are not alone, that you have never been alone. You are already home. In this homecoming, you may notice how the relentless chase for more softens into a gentle curiosity. What once felt urgent becomes a patient unfolding. Your relationship with time changes. The hurried pace relaxes into a rhythm that honors each moment as it comes, without judgment or rush. You discover the beauty of impermanence, not as loss, but as an ever-changing dance that invites you to move with grace. Each breath, each step, each heartbeat becomes a sacred thread, weaving you into the fabric of life's mystery. The sense of needing to prepare for what's next fades, replaced by a trust that whatever comes, you will meet it with the strength of your presence. This presence is your true readiness, not forged by effort or achievement, but born from the acceptance that you are enough here and now. You may find that this acceptance ripples outward, softening your interactions with others. Patience grows. Compassion blooms. The harsh judgments you held for yourself and others begin to dissolve, replaced by understanding and kindness. This is not a perfection to strive for, but a natural unfolding as the walls you built begin to fall away. You start to live from a place of ease, where the effort to control relaxes into the effortlessness of being. As you rest in this truth, you come to see that the journey itself was never about reaching a destination. It was about returning to your true self, to the timeless presence that has always been within you, patiently waiting. You are no longer defined by your readiness or your fears. You are defined by your openness to life's unfolding, by your willingness to trust what is, by your courage to surrender to what cannot be controlled. This is the freedom that awaits beyond the cracks, the freedom that is your birthright, the freedom that is always here beneath the surface, calling you home. So breathe deeply now. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Let the weight of needing to be ready fall away. Know in your bones, and your heart, and your very being that you are already free. And in that knowing, you are truly home.